so let's definitely dive into it. Well, how are you guys doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is Monday, actually my favorite day of the week, as we talked about yesterday. And inshallah, we're gonna dive into a very interesting, amazing, actually, workshop today about self-love and the relationship with yourself. So hopefully, you guys still have your binders and your notebooks that that you worked some things on yesterday. So if you don't have it, we'll give you a second for you to go out there and grab it. And then we'll do the same exact thing that we did yesterday. Or I will give you about a couple minutes before we even start for you to think about a few questions that you want to get out of today's workshop. The topics that we mentioned is the relationship with yourself and self-love. So really just, trying to draw down like two or three different questionnaire that I want to make sure that we cover today and that you do not leave today unless you get all of your questions answered. So we'll get about a couple minutes. It's 5:18, so until like 5:20. Get your pen and papers, different colors if you want, and then write down a question or two about self-love or relationship with yourself that you want to make sure that you get answered by the end of the day today, and that will dive right into it. Inshallah. Perfect. All right, so we'll dive right into it. Hopefully, you guys wrote some questionnaire. Why a relationship with self is such an important like piece into this whole puzzle? An example that I gave yesterday, where I asked each and every person just to, I think a couple of days ago, to imagine if you wake up tomorrow morning, yeah, by the shot, like you woke up tomorrow morning and everything is gone, everything, money, friends, family, just job, security, you're saving, everything is just completely gone, wiped out. So, and you woke up, again, and you have two different options to make. You can actually sit there and just beat yourself up and cry it out and just literally just go through your misery, or decide to take a step back, sure, process what happened, and then continue to move forward. The only thing I think in that moment that you will have at that moment is yourself, right? Your abilities, your strengths, your weaknesses, and literally I think your mind will start to think about, what am I doing next? What's my next step? That's a critical piece, right? So if we understand that point that you have you, right, as someone they can, rely on, why are we spending enough time and energy to get to know who we are truly, and nurture that relationship between us and ourselves? And then the second thing is continue to invest on ourselves, right? So I'm gonna touch base on the investment part, and then we'll go, we'll move along. The investment part that I mean about this is not just, like that your ability to look at your life and see, like, what am I doing for myself? I mean, investment is not just, buying yourself most expensive clothes. Sure, I mean, do that. That's great. But then it's, eating healthy, right? Exercising, that's just for your own self, smoking or drinking, whatever that is, and not do that because, you're adding poison into your life, hanging out in the head all day long and not giving enough yourself enough sleep, right? Hanging out with the wrong crowd, hanging out with just, constantly making, let's say, decisions that put you at a position where you have to defend yourself, where you have to like just, stress yourself, right? Like your mental state, and then just that energy and lying and stealing and all these different things that's not pleasant for you as an individual, that's not helping you to continue to grow. This is what I mean about investing in yourself. And sometimes it's easy to invest in yourself. You make a decision, you say, you know what, I want to have the best, let's say, body ever, so I start to work out, right? I deserve, for me, one of the commitment that I have for myself, like I committed about 6 to 7, 8 years ago that I will never eat fast food ever again. Why? Funny story. I was driving one day, and this is actually an interesting story. uh, driving to work around 7 o'clock, and it was roughly about 7 years ago. And then I'm starving. It was 7 o'clock, starving. I want to get some food before I get to the office. I pull up, and the only thing was open in my area was a McDonald's. So I pull up, and I still remember the wallahi as if it's just yesterday. I ordered that number seven, the steak and cheese. I think it's like steak and cheese on a bagel, like or something like that. It was like one of the greasiest crap ever, you know. So I remember like I took that, you know, took that sandwich, and I was driving, trying to eat. I took a couple bites, and then all of a sudden that grease. And I want you guys to imagine this. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of us are fasting today. That grease started to like to drip on my white shirt. I have a meeting in a few hours, and I'm like stressing out, like literally. Like I pulled over to the side, and wallahi, it was just that moment, and where I asked myself, like, what am I doing? Like what am I doing with my, you know, with my life? Why am I eating this greasy sandwich that just messed up my whole entire day? Now I have to go back home to change. And it just like had just it was just like a rough morning for me. So literally I pulled up my phone and I went to Yelp, and I actually, like type best personal trainer ever, like in this area. Actually not ever, best personal trainer in my neighborhood. And I remember like popping the first number one guy was name is John. So I picked up the phone and called him, like literally at that moment, because I made a decision, a conscious decision that I wanted to change, health. And, and I think what was going on in my mind is like, both my grandparents died at a heart attack. My mom and dad both have, health issues, like, hard blood pressures and diabetes and, cholesterol and all these different things. And I think what's going on in my mind is like, if I'm going with that same path is they are, like literally, what am I doing different? I'm gonna end up the same way as they are, right? So I need to do my part. And literally, I think the question that I raised was, is this what I want for myself and for my life and for my kids and for everyone else? And the answer was no. So literally picked up the phone and called John. He picked up 7 a.m. And I remember saying to him, like, listen, I'm looking for a personal trainer. He said, sure, no problem. When can you start? Literally, that was the first thing that came down his mind. Like, when can you start? And that's when my mind started to spin, right? And I started to think about different things and different ideas and whatever that is. And I said to him, well, let me check my schedule. I checked my schedule. And jokingly, I said to him, well, I don't know, maybe I can fit you in tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I'm so busy tomorrow. He literally said to me, perfect, I'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Like, very calmly. So that freaked me out. Then I said, 4 a.m., my man. And he was like, yeah, sure, 4 o'clock. I'll see you then. I was like, well, that's no problem. Hang up the phone. And in my mind, I made a conscious decision that, you know what? All right, this is dedication. This is a new me. I wanted to start right now. I wanted to make some changes. This is for my own self. This is for my own health. And, went to sleep very excited. I went in, got my, like I went in, I think I went to Dick's Sporting Good, bought some new sneakers, got me some t-shirts and all these different things. I want that first start, right? I wanted to invest in that first start. I went in, wallahi, that night I didn't sleep. Like in my mind, it was one thing. I wanted to get to his like gym before he did, so he can think that I'm motivated, right? Like literally, that was the only thing in my mind. Like I need to be in there. 3 o'clock, jumped up, showered, got my clothes ready, went in, drank some, made my smoothie, drank some water, hopped in the car, and I drove there. I literally got there about 3:25, 3:30. I pulled up, and all of a sudden I see this guy's lights were on. Like literally, just think about just like just my emotional state at that point. So I walked in, and he was there, this old guy, and I said, "Hey, listen." And he's like, "Why do you want to change?" And I told him that story about the greasy number seven thing that I got, and he laughed and he said, "All right, well, three things. I want you to be committed, and I need you not to question me because I'm an expert. And number three, I need you to stop weighting yourself until I tell you to do so, and I need you to stop eating bagel, donuts, and cereal." I'm like, this guy is like tripping because those are like my favorite like breakfast stuff ever. And I'm like, holy crap, dude, you're tripping. He said, nope, that's it. That's the agreement. If you're willing to do it, let's take the route. And literally, that's what I did. And I started with him 4 days a week, and 7 years into it, I think we're going in our 8th year next month. That's still my personal trainer. We're still working together. I mean, he's an amazing guy. So just to think of it, just the moral to the story is, like I was pushed into a corner when I realized like I needed to change, right? Sometimes we make that decision because we want to make the decision, and sometimes is like we are forced to make a decision. Like you have a heart attack, or you lose someone who's close to you, or like you start to panic and anxiety, and then you get into some just discomfort sometimes for us to force us to change. I mean, a lot of us will say, I've been, and this is the true story with a lot of my clients. I work in this job and I go to work for 8, 9 hours a day, and I'm just so stressed out. I really wanted to leave. I really wanted to leave, and then my answer is like, just leave. I said no, and then find all these different excuses. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And then one day they go to work and they just get fired, and then they get stressed out. They want to talk trash about the job. I'm like, no. It's you need it. You knew for your own sanity, for your own self, that you need to leave the specific job, but you decide not to do it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala checked you at a point, put you at a position that where you had to make that move. So that's what I mean about investing in yourself. When you take a step back to identify like the things that matter to you and things that you wanted to do, for your own self, do it again. The same thing that we talked about yesterday, as far as your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You need to set, number one, you need to set that intention that you want to change, right? And then you ask yourself that same exact question that we said: why do you want to change? Right? And that's a very, very, very critical part about yourself, right? So when you start to start to ask yourself about why do I want to change, and we're going to talk about different aspects of your life itself. But the critical part is like, wanting to change. I know each and every one of you guys right now, when you're thinking about what I'm talking about, there's a couple of things, couple of thoughts that just popped into your conscious mind or your subconscious minds about certain things that you wanted to change in your life, but you haven't been able to do it, or you just didn't spend the time to do it, or just you ignored it, you avoided it, whatever that is that you did. So I want you to, again, same thing that we did yesterday. If you get these thoughts, write them somewhere in there, because I want to make sure that we go back to it. I want to we process this at some point. So when you start to think about the relationship with yourself, for me in specific, I broke that down into two different pieces. And for you, you can definitely break it down into how many you want. The two important things for me is the physical state of myself, and then my mental state of myself. So we have the physical being, or physical state, and then we have our mental state. And we're going to break down each one of them. For me in specific, and like I said, we're going to continue to talk about this, but for me, physical state or physical being means 4 different aspects, right? Or 5 different aspects if you think about it. Number one is sleep is one of them, which is sleeping. For me, I read an article about, it's very critical for a person to sleep from 6 to 8 hours a day. So this is something that I do follow. I mean, I sleep roughly about 5 to 5.5 to 6 hours a day, but that's what I've been getting, right? That's number one. The second thing that from sleep is food, right? With food intake, and we have some experts on this, and I know the podcast right before us was on personal, just health and wellness and all these different good things. But I want you guys to think about it from a sense of like having, for me specific, having 3 balanced meals every single day, right? So the reason why I say 3 balanced meals, right? A lot of us eat once or twice, and I want to be 100% honest, because we wake up early, we grab some breakfast, and then we get into it. Sometimes we don't even lunch because work, we stressed out, we do things, or we eat late lunch, come home, we just eat a snack, and then this is how we go about it. I know some of my clients actually eat 1 meal a day, and that's another scary thing to do. So, and that's, I think, and some of the physical guys in there that can actually mention this. If you're eating, let's say one meal a day throughout, and then you expect him to see health, and you expect him to see like losing weight and doing all these different, it becomes very, very hard for you to, because I think your body get into that starvation mode. So just think about that from that sense. So I think having 3 different balanced meals a day, and this is a critical piece. And then throughout the day, throughout the day, getting some snacks. But with the balanced meals, I think the commitment that you have to make to yourself when it comes to eating and food intake is making sure that you eat the best quality of food out there, right? And that's one of the decisions that I made as far as not eating fast food. For me, it's like one of those things. I stopped drinking sodas, like literally about 7-8 years ago. I drink, water, I drink, fresh juices, and that's the only thing that I do, because in my mind, like, that's associated with sugar and it's not good for me. And so I did not want to do that. So just keeping that in mind. The third piece is drinking enough water, which is, truly apologies about this, guys. We have some technical difficulties. All right. So the third one is drinking enough water. We talk about 6 to 8 cups of water a day. Again, this is a must, especially during the winter. Summertime, I think a lot of time when we feel like, thirsty, and there's a saying that if you're already thirsty, that means if you feel thirsty, that means you're already dehydrated. So, and a lot of times during the winter time, it's not hot outside. We don't pay attention to our water intake, but then we start to get these headaches. We can start to get these fatigues. We start to get this just lack of energy. We start to find ourselves just not motivated, and literally when you start to think back as far as how many cups of water did you have yesterday or the day, and you start to question that. Same thing right now during Ramadan. And this is one of the most things that I want to bring up. A lot of us drink that just cup of water, for example. Then culturally, we all about the juices. We all about the Sudanese traditional adadib and all these different good, amazing things, drinks that we get into it. And then find ourselves just continuing to drink more juices. I mean, it was a couple of days ago, literally I sat down and was like, yo, like throughout the whole entire time, I did not drink any cup of water, even to break my fast, because I broke my fast with juice. So just getting back into that discipline is critical as far as making those choices that this is what I want to do for me, right? And again, same thing that we talked about yesterday. Don't do it for anyone else. Do it for you specifically, right? So we talked about sleep. We talked about food intake. We talked about drinking enough water. Number 4, it's about exercising. And we talked about that briefly yesterday as far as exercise. As I mentioned to you, I have a personal trainer. This is an investment. And again, when people think about personal trainers, they think about, yo, the amount of money we pay. Again, going back about self-love and being okay that you're spending money on you, right? And this is the question that I want to ask you guys. When is the last time you went to watch a movie that you wanted to watch? When is the last time you took yourself out on a date? When is the last time you bought yourself something without feeling guilty about, right? And these are some of the good indication into, like, as human being and culturally as Sudanese, we will just learn at an early age that we want to do for others. And this is why I think we have a lot of awesome guys here. If their families back home, they work so hard to send money back home. Literally, that's what we're programmed to do. Is that concept of like just giving, and it's given and given and given. Like, I think it's like, for years, like it was like, I had a client I was talking to him the other day. He said 7 years he didn't buy a new sneaker. I'm like, yo, really? He was like, yeah. And I was like, why? Because you don't like sneakers? He's like, no, because all my money, I mean, I do send it to my friends, and I feel bad. I feel guilty about buying things for myself. And that's a question that I want you guys to question yourself. Take a step back and check yourself out. Do you feel guilty doing things for you? When you go out, let's say, to get, especially if you have kids, that's another interesting thing. Like, do you find yourself dedicated yourself on money and energy to buy everything for your kids and for everyone else, for your wife, for your significant others, a home for your family and things like that? Like, do you really feel guilty about purchasing, buying things for you? And that's an important piece. So when you think about knowing, for example, like, I want to be honest with you. You put me in a gym, I don't even know what to do. Wallahi, I have no idea what to do. I will go in there, jump on the treadmill for 30 minutes, and I'm like, all right, I'm done, go back home. I have no idea. It's one of those things I have no idea about. So for me, I realized that because I went to so many different gyms, throughout my life, and it did not work. I will pay the memberships. We had some crazy gyms in the past where we pay the gym, and that thing will stick. Like, you have to pay for a whole year. Like, and you have to lie about, you travel outside the country, you're doing all these different things so you can just chop up your memberships. And that's something that I was like, why would I do that? If this is not an area of me that I know I have no expertise on, why can't I just go and hire an expert so they can come in and bring ease to my process? Sure, we're investing the money, we're paying the money, but that money will, again, it's a self-investment. Alhamdulillah, it's been a journey for me. Same exact thing about food. This is something that we talk about all the time, like buying organics versus not organics. And it's just literally just that mental state. Like, people say, well, organic foods are way expensive and things like that, but is it better for you, right? That's the $1 million question. And if the answer is yes, the question for you becomes, it's like, okay, priorities. You want to make sure that this is your body that you're building, right? This is the food intake that you're taking. And if you feel that the current food that you're eating is not good for you, changing that to something a lot more healthier. I'm one of those individuals that, we talk about discipline. I'll go to my parents' house. My parents, traditional Sudanese guys. Going there, everything is Muhammad, everything Tawa thing. It's like the amount of oil in there, man. These guys will probably I don't know, create like it can feel like a fish tank with the amount of oil these guys make on their food on a daily basis. So literally went in there and I said, guys, I cannot eat this. So they start to stress out a little bit. I just said, what do you mean? Like, I just cannot eat this. This is bad for me, bad for other people. They just kind of give me all this hurt. And I start to educate them slowly. Of course, initially did not want to take it culturally. We talked about that yesterday. But slowly, when I start to enforce, I will literally come in. What do you guys have for lunch today? Oh, we have like lahma Muhammad. We have this. Okay, no problem. All right, I'll go in, like literally across the street, buy salad, come back, and then all of a sudden they start to like hold on a second, and then they start to change, so because they want me to eat. So now, like literally going in to their houses, and they'll have like separate meals, or they'll start to try to do big things more, or like literally escalate things a little bit more. So it's that concept of like once you start to change you, the world will change around you, and that's where that proximity will come in very handy. So think about that from that sense. So I went in and I invested in a personal trainer. This is a decision that I want you guys to make today when it comes to your physical health. What are some steps that you are going to do today, like today? And I want you to write that down. That's going to help you put your physical health, like that exercise part of it, to the next level. I think all of us wants to exercise. All of us want to live a healthy lifestyle. All of us want to lose some weight. All of us want to get fit. All of us want to have a nice bodies. This is just the reality of it. So what are we doing? Check in the things that you were doing. I mean, you have, for example, who just killing himself an hour before iftar, which is amazing. Take my hat off for him and all those different things. This is great. That's an expert. You can definitely go in there to him and ask questions about that. What do you do? He's an athlete. This is his area of expertise. Pick his brain a little bit. Go online. But if you're not able to do it on your own, hire someone that can do it for you. And if you say to me, "Well, it's expensive," and all, again, think about it from a sense of it. It's an investment for your own self. You want to live that healthier lifestyle, and if you feel bad about investing on a trainer, that's the problem. Joe, again, that's what I'm saying. That's self-love. You know what I'm saying? We all tying back into that self-love. So that's the fourth one. The fifth one, which is an interesting one, is it's smoking, right? I don't smoke at all, but one of those things that from a discipline perspective, I don't allow smokers around me. And this is one of the biggest struggles that I had to go through when I was in Sudan. Because in Sudan, literally we drive in and then the person next to you start to like pop smoke. So that's the reason why I went in and rented a car. And while I'll drive around, I have people in there, and the minute they pull their cigarettes, right away I say, "Guys, listen, all due respect, but can you just wait? I can pull over and you can go out there and smoke, because I just don't want someone to smoke in the car." So initially they thought I was just being bougie and rude and mean. But after a little bit, literally we'll be driving, like, "Yo, bro, can you just pull over for a second?" I'll pull over, they'll get out, we'll smoke for a little bit, they hop on back on the car. And the reason why I say that, because again, smoking is not just you actually smoking and taking that intake. It's actually if you surround yourself with other smokers that they're smoking within your proximity, that have, on the long term, have a different, negative impact on your own health. So again, being disciplined, right? And this is a critical part about it. Set down, set what you want to set for your own self, for your own personal growth from a physical aspect of it, and then follow through. The second aspect of it is literally to take those things, remember the planner that we talked about yesterday, and to put it into your planner. Literally, if you see my thing for the day to day, like my plan for the day, literally I have my time where I have my breakfast, I have the time where I have my lunch, I have the time where I have my dinner, the time where I have my coffee, and I have the 2 times where I have my snacks engraved in my planner on daily basis. So we'll be at work, we having a meeting, things like that. And then all of a sudden I'll say, "Guys, listen, time for lunch." I'll literally step out. And then when I do lunch, and this is another critical part, that's another important part. When you have your lunch, have your lunch. You don't have your lunch while you're working. You don't have your lunch while driving. You don't have your lunch while you're on the phone talking to somebody, right? Literally set a space in your house at this point, because a lot of us are home. This is a space for you to eat. And you literally jump in and you sit there and you pour your food, like your food, and you just start to eat. This is the focus, because if you understand in your planner, you have nothing else, no other task but for you to have lunch, or for you to have breakfast, or for you to have dinner. That's all you're doing. And wallahi, guys, this is something that I just learned recently, actually about 6, 7, 8 months ago, where like I'll go in to have coffee and all these different things, and I remember it was actually in Sudan, where back in January, so it was about a couple months ago. Like I went into a restaurant to get some, and I made a commitment to myself that I really want to become very aware and be in that presence moment, like literally sitting down, and if I'm drinking coffee, I really want to enjoy my coffee. I want to taste my coffee. If I'm with someone, I really want to be there with them, like presence. I don't want to be checking my phone. I don't want to be doing multitasking. I don't want to be doing nothing, right? So I went through, ups and downs through this because I found myself, sneaking in and doing a couple of things, and while drinking coffee, I'm working things, checking my stock market, doing all these different things. Then all of a sudden, I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. So subhanallah, I was in Sudan, Gahwa Republic. I don't know if you guys know that place in Riyadh. Shout out to anyone in Riyadh that know that place. I ordered a coffee and I sat down there. Literally, I had some, back to back to back to back, clients at that time. But it was, I think, an hour before. I decided to put my phone away. I decided to put my notebook away. It was literally just me sitting there, drinking that coffee and literally just marinating and just enjoying that. And it was just a revelation for me that moment. I said, you know what, this is amazing. And I remember telling the lady, I was like, yo, this is one of the best coffees I ever had in my life. She jumped up, like she got like shook, like this dude is tripping. But it was, wallahi, was that. It was like one of those things like, yo, this is really what it is. And for me, I don't even think it was the coffee, but I think it was because I embraced that moment for me, and I took that time for me just to embrace that moment and drink that coffee and enjoy the process of it. And that goes back into it as far as that self-love, right? Like, again, if you're loving yourself, you're not rushing, because why the rush, right? You're doing it for you. And I think that goes back into that discipline that we talked about. So those are the five different things when I talk, we talk about the physical being. For me in specific, you have the sleep, which is 6 to 8 hours. You have the food, which is 3 meals a day and a couple times for snacks. But then being selective as far as the food that I'm taking, the food intake, right? I don't eat anything. I don't just there's certain, and I can say no, because again, it's me, it's my body, it's my own physical being, it's my energy. And subhanallah, right now, like if I eat something that just I'm not supposed to eat, wallahi, like my energy drop throughout the whole entire day. I'm like, what's going on? Oh yeah, maybe that like crazy burger that I had, whatever that is that I had, and things like that. So just keeping that in mind. Third one is the water intake, 68 hours. And one of the things that you can do to enjoy this is actually go in and buy yourself a bottle of water that you love, right? It's not something that you found. It's not just regular bottles that you take and you throw away, like just containers, and carry that with you everywhere. If it looks nice, for me, I have an I will coach one that I have my name in it in the, on the bottom, which just I love and I adore. So everywhere I take it with me everywhere I go. And I got, my kids, custom made ones with our coaching logo for each and every one of them. And they got excited. They take that to school. They take that everywhere they go. So just again, doing things for you, right? The fourth one is the exercise. And as I mentioned, if you don't know what to do as far as exercises, again, and you or just don't have that motivation to do it on your own, literally, please make that investment. I mean, I know we think of personal trainers that these guys are too crazy expensive. They're not. They're really not. Especially right now after this whole quarantine things. A lot of businesses are hurting. A lot of people are losing clients. So if you're making that decision, a lot of them are offering online classes, and then after this quarantine things, like things shall get back to normal, you're gonna start offering a lot of good deals to attract people just from a business perspective. So take advantage of that. And it's not even about, and by the way, that money is tax deductible. I mean, if you have some CPA here, you just keep that in mind, because it's you working on your own self. So do that, right? And then if you don't know it, like I said, if you need that, like my trainer, by the way, guys, it's my accountability partner. I'll get yelled at. I'll get push that, but it's from the heart. So it's that, sometimes like when we have like people like gym partners, and then all of a sudden they're not motivated, or they drop the day or 2 days or 3 days, you start to find yourself not motivated to go. But again, if you pay attention. You pay that money for your personal trainer. He'll take that money early on. Then you gotta start to think, yo, I paid this guy that much money. I better show up. I better take advantage of it. And because you're doing it for you, you jump in there and you will definitely follow through with that. And then the fifth one is that, again, like the alcohol intake, or like the smoking and all these different things that I talk about. Again, this is a question that I'm not asking. I'm not saying it from a religion standpoint, from whatever that is point standpoint. I'm talking about from your self standpoint. I mean, so one of my clients, excuse me for this one, but one of my clients said something that was, and he's actually, I think he's gonna jump on this call with you. He said, like, he was like, Abdullah, listen, like, why waste money on something that I pay on? Pay it. I'm like, that's an interesting perspective. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And that's how he stopped drinking. And it's literally just that mindset for him. It's like he started to realize, because we did a quick just accountability as far as his money, like how is he spending his money and all these different things, and realize that he's spending $300 to $400 in drinking on a weekly, like on a monthly basis. And literally, he made that comment. And he said, you know what? Is it worth it? It's not worth it. It's damaging your body, damaging your liver, and you're wasting a lot of money. Where that money can go into something like a personal trainer, and that's wallahi, that's exactly what he did. He took that money, stopped drinking, and he put it into a personal trainer. And he's one of those amazing guys. And like I said, inshallah, he's gonna jump on this call today, and you can definitely ask him. So that's just that mindset, smoking and drinking, and these habits that you're making. So that's something for you to do. And then again, going back into your planner, getting specific and getting structure, writing down these hours, writing down like what time do you go to bed, what time you go to sleep, and force that. I was talking to someone yesterday, I think, or this morning about, she was studying, I think she had like no sleep, studying for X amount of hours, then got in and jump in and all these different things. It's great. It's a lot of dedication. I love that. But I'll tell you, if you keep up with this, your body's going to crash. It's definitely not healthy. Everything else, I mean, it needs to be balanced, right? I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes we just shift these gears and go in and we try our best and do whatever we need to do. I get it. I love it. And I love the dedication for it. But you must make sure that you balance that. That's that same example we talked about yesterday, as far as going to the gym and working your right arm, right? You do that over and over and over and over and over again, your whole entire body's going to be extremely weak. That's that mindset, right? You go in there, even if you have school, even if you have homework, even if you have all these different things, I think getting discipline as far as understanding what you need to do, and that's that self-love, right? You understand that, for example, you have an exam on May 5th, right? And you have a month to study for this exam. Not waiting for the last 2 3 days to jump in and start doing the exam, doing your papers. Not relax, take that, break it down into like chapters throughout the whole thing, and trying to take these chapters and put them into your planner on a daily basis. And you don't finish until you get that stuff done. That's that self-discipline, and that's that self-love, right? And when you do it, you're doing it for you, because you do not want to just wait until the last minute so you can deliver this paper, you can deliver, because guess what? Remember we talked about 21 days creating a habit. You do this long enough, it becomes a habit. Now your school, everything is the last minute. You're working out, everything is the last minute. Your food, everything is the last minute. Getting to work, last minute. Getting projects done on time, last minute, and that's what becomes a lifestyle, and it becomes very hard to break those specific habits, right? So start now, make a decision, and that's what I'm saying. Using Ramadan as a way, because Ramadan is all about discipline, guys. Literally, it's all about discipline. I mean, praying, fasting, and if you're able to get that discipline in yourself, and you're able to do it in this month, working out in this month, having 6 to 8 hours of sleep in this month, spirituality on another level in this month, bro. Think about after this month is over, with no restriction, and you have that ability, and then we have about 21 days, right? 20 days from now on to get this month done properly. And then you start, and it becomes a habit. And then that's when you continue this whole drive and this whole motivation to keep moving forward. So this is the physical being, right? The second aspect of it is the mental state. And this is actually one of the most critical parts of everything we do, that mental strength. If you don't have that mental strength or that mental capacity, you're not going to be able to do these physical things that you're supposed to do. I mean, like, again, if you don't, in your mind, don't understand that it's important for you to have this 6 to 8 cups of water a day, you're not going to do it. If you don't understand, like, you need to sleep for 6 to 8 hours a day, you're not going to be able to do it. Literally, that's that So for me, what do I do, right? I literally took a step back and I started to realize the things that I enjoy. Like for me, I love reading. I don't like writing. I used to like writing a lot, but I'm more into reading. I love nature, and I like long drives, and I love silence for me to think, right? So one of the things that I do on a weekly basis, and I try to actually put it on my daily basis, but on a weekly basis, at every single week, I will take a drive. Just a drive into the nature, like go in, yesterday we went to the river. I think I told you guys that. Like I'll post some pictures on Instagram very soon about just that scenery. It's just an amazing thing. I will drive around for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, literally by myself, turn the, like no music, nothing going on. Just it's all me and my thoughts and my processes, right? I think about different things, I process different things. And whenever I get to my location, I pull my planner out and I'll literally sit there. Just imagine putting myself in that state, and I write like the things, my thought process, the things that I enjoy, the things that I like to do. Sometimes if I don't want to, I don't want to write it, I just record it. I have a bunch of recording on my phone just to make it a lot easier for myself. That's for me personal, like that's that mental state. People like to draw. I mean, I used to draw in the past, but I don't do it anymore. And it's not something that I enjoy. My wife likes to do that. You saw my story a couple of days ago. Literally, we hopped on like an online drawing class right before the workshop, and we went in there and we started to draw different things, and got some awesome drawing in. just to get your mind in. I love to color mandalas. That's another thing that helped me put me in that mental state. I love to read, like as I mentioned, like different stories and different content, different things. I like to listen to podcasts. That's part of my mental stuff. I love to take long showers, right? Some cold shocks, and then I get into it. I don't do baths, but I do showers. I love to have intelligent conversations. That's part of my mental state, like my mental strength. I'll literally sit there and start to talk to people and just pick their brain about different topics. If I don't understand the topic, I take it back. I'll go in and educate myself in it. I understand it in certain people in my life. My dad loved history and he loves geography. So literally I'll sit down with him and ask him some questions about everything and anything to do with history, and we'll go into these conversations. We'll go into the history of whatever country that you want to go into. I have friends that are into physics. I have friends that are into philosophy. I have friends that are into psychology. I have friends that are into like medicine. I have friends, literally, and that's where that proximity come in. I have some friends into real estate. I have some friends into stock market. I have friends into banking. And these are the intelligent conversations that I'm trying to push myself for me to learn about certain topics and then going and talk to them about. Not from, oh, I know it all or this is that. No, no, for me learning from them, because that state of mind put me in a very good state of mind, and that helped my own personal mental state. So when you think about your mental state, you start to think about, the things that you are into, right, that bring you joy, right? And one of the cool exercises for you guys to do, this is an amazing thing. For example, my house is very structured, and it's mentally for me, it's very structured in a sense of I have certain spaces in my house to do certain tasks. Literally, like where I'm sitting right now, like like it's not my office, it's my my what is it called, like that's where I do my workshop. We have this setup like where we have a dining table on one side of it. This is where I do a lot of my workshops. I like that picture in the back. It just put me in a good state. This is what I do. So I don't eat in this place, I don't drink in this place, I don't do anything in this place except there sit down and do workshops. I have another area in my house where I sit down and read. I have another area of my house that where we eat. I have an area, and it's the same structure we have with my kids as well. Same thing in like bedrooms is not just where you sleep. The family room is just where you sit down. Literally that's in that mental space. So every time like I want to like do a workshop, I want to read, I just come into that same space, and that automatically put my subconscious into that state, like that mood of I'm here to do this specific task. And it's so interesting. Like after a while, like the other day, I think we had people over. I sat down here trying to eat. Literally, found myself like going online trying to. I'm like, oh, it's like no, no, it's food. And then I went back and I sat in that chair. So design your house into this. Like so don't do your schoolwork in your bedroom. Why? Because you don't want to associate your bedroom of this is where it is. So if you have a rough day, like studying and things like that, every time you put yourself in that same place, you're gonna stress it out, right? And this is something that subconsciously I do with a lot of my clients. The minute they say like, "Hey, like I can't do this. I'm too tired. I'm sick. I'm just low energy." The first thing I tell them to do is just stand up and change your position. Literally change your position. And then they're like, okay. So there's three things I want to talk to you guys about. Like, and please write these things down. It's how do you control your state, right? I mean, where we at right now, this is a state. Like we are in a state of mind, or a state of just state. So we're happy, we sad, we depressed, we anxious, we exhausted, we tired, we're thinking negative, we're happy, whatever that is, that's a state. Every time you change your state by doing three different things, right? Number one, changing your physiology, and this is, by the way, Islam. This is specifically, that's from like that's the Asadin. Rasul said, like, if you feel angry, whatever, if you're standing, sit. If you're sitting, lay down. If you're laying down, walk. Literally, that's changing that physiology aspect of it. So if you're sitting down, you're getting frustrated, you're getting stressed out, just get up and take a walk. I do this a lot during meetings. I'll be sitting down in the meeting, and the meeting is not going the way I want it, and I'll literally just stand up, and people just look at me like I was crazy. I'm like, no, I'm just changing my state. I have that control of it mentally. I want to become a lot more like focused in what that is. I walk around during the meeting. I stand behind my desk, have the conversation, and then I come back and sit down. So changing your state. So if you stand up and you're feeling stressed out, sit. If you sit in, lay down. If you're laying down, you jog, push-ups, jumping jacks, whatever that is, just to change your physiology. That will help you change your state. The second thing to change your state is changing your focus. If you're sitting down working on this paper for hours and hours and hours, and you're just getting stuck, you just can't do it. You're stressing, you're trying so many different ways. Get it up literally and start to focus on something different. Hop on it, go make some lunch real quick and come back. That way you change your focus on something. And while you're doing your lunch, you're doing whatever you're doing, you're changing your thought, you focus on that task. And then you come back to it. And that's for me, that's a good practice that where I don't make decisions right away. Like if I hear something, even like the negative like decisions that I think or decisions on the go, never make those. I get the thought process, I marinate it, I take a step back, I go and do a couple of things and then come back to it, or I'm already focused to address the problem. So I don't make a decision when I'm angry. I don't make a decision when I'm hungry. Literally, I just don't do that. Like, or I don't make a decision when I'm extremely excited, because again, it's all psychological, making a decision based on the emotions that we go through. So changing your state by changing your physiology, changing your state by changing your focus, and then changing your state by changing your language. And that's another critical piece. Self-talk. Like if you keep telling yourself, "Oh my God, like I can't, like I can't do this." Changing that, no, I actually can. Catching yourself first and then do it. And this is a cool exercise. I do that all the time. As far as like, like we talked about, like, sometimes when you write these things down and you're not able to complete it, and then you see the day one, the day two, like, okay, I didn't do it. The third day, you look back and you plan and say, why didn't I do this? And then you start to question that. And then the question becomes, well, I didn't send this email because I didn't like maybe I didn't get the response that I wanted. So right away, changing that the language as far as, well, what if I get that response that I want? What will come out of it? Perfect. I'll be great. I'll be happy. Okay. I'll build that relationship. Okay. I'll get this thing done. Perfect. I'll get the things that I want. Perfect. I'm excited. Everybody excited. My employees are excited. We're having a good day. Perfect. Now we'll go out there and do it. So changing that language. And that becomes very critical with your self-love from a self-talk part of things. If you feel like you're beating yourself up, you're harsh on yourself. I mean, we said that a couple of times yesterday about being gentle with yourself. What does that mean? Being gentle with yourself is that, I mean, not allowing yourself, like, just to do things and get away with things. No, relax, but just being gentle in the moment. If you have these negative thoughts about, like, you just, like, you're not able to do it, you're dumb, you picked the wrong, wrong career, anxiety is the reason why, stress is the reason why, your family is the reason why, all these different things. Changing the language about, well, no, relax. My parents, like, like, oh, my parents is so hard on me. Right. Instead of like, oh, that's negative and they push me down. No, no, they change the language. Well, my parents were hard on me because of these different things, because they want me to do these things. The minute you start to tell yourself and use that language, proper language, that that change in the language of it, you're gonna start finding yourself changing that state. To sum all of it, prayers, guys, will do all of it. Why? When you pray, standing up, ruku, sujood, that's changing your physiology throughout, right? Focus, whatever that is that you're doing, when you start to pray, you literally focus on that prayer as far as mastering that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and asking for guidance to help you get over whatever that is that you're going through. And the third one is your language. In prayer, you're not thinking about your work, your job, your stress. You're reciting the Quran, which is very direct, very, you just need to recite that. So you're changing your language, you're changing your physiology, and you're changing your focus when you do that prayer. So every time you find yourself getting stressed out or not able to do whatever, just go in, do, pray a couple of rakahs. Doesn't have to be any prayer, just a couple of rakahs, just to get your mind off of it. And that's sunnah, you got some hasanat, and you just put yourself in that, changing that state, and then come back at it and look at the problem the way you want to look at it. So that's the critical part about it, is you understand you, and no one know you better than yourself. So taking that step back to understand, like, the things that will put you in a very good mental state. If you don't know any of it, which is okay, you say, I don't know any of it, that's when I tell you to try different things. Try reading, try coloring, try, like, just thinking, try, like, storytelling, try poetry, try rapping, try whatever, drawing, try just trying to get creative in things, try listen to podcasts, try just to create your own podcast, try taking walks, try to hang out with your cats at home, try to hang out with your dogs at home. I don't know. Try different things, like, try to travel, just literally putting your mind into things at ease. If, for example, you take a walk, right, and you get to a place where you're very excited about, get that nice scenery, you put your mind in a very nice mental state, this is your space, right? Remember, I talked about capture that moment. So every time you find yourself stressed out, walk to that space. And you're gonna find yourself getting back, because again, that muscle memory, right? Getting back into that awesome space. Someone said something in here, someone goes into coffee shops and studying. One of the awesome exercises about that, like, literally one of the awesome things about that if you find, for example, you go into, I'm just gonna pick on one. Let's go to Starbucks, right? And you sit on that one chair on that one side, and then all of a sudden you start to do some amazing work and you get this homework done, you study, you do things like that. This is your seat. So be technical, tactical. Every time you go to that Starbucks, sit in that same seat. That's our muscle memory, right? And then you get excited. Every time you say you had a rough exam, you studied, and then you got a rough result, right? Because you sat on the thing. Change the coffee shop. Literally change the coffee shop, and then all of a sudden you gotta start finding yourself. Like again, putting yourself in a different place. I'm one of those individuals that I will capture moments, but I will capture happy moments. Like say I'm walking down and like walking down, right? I'm on the phone, I get a call from one of my clients or I get a call from one of my staff that they did something amazing. Literally, one thing that I literally do, I will stop, I will close my eyes and I will just capture that moment. What am I smelling? What am I seeing? Where I'm at? So like, and it's subhanAllah, this is one thing is like when I started this company, I got some really good news. I was at one of the malls, and when I got that approval, we were trying to be vendors at some of the local counties, and I got that call that moment. Oh, I still remember that till today's date. I was at that mall walking around. I got a call that we got in as a vendor. I closed my eyes and I literally just start to smell like what's going on. Truly apologize. And this and what I smelled at that moment was what is it called? Honey bun. It was like one of those honey bun like Cinnabon places or whatever that is. And subhanallah, and it literally was just that moment that I closed my eyes and I smelled that just that smell of it, and for me that was it. Like now, wallahi, until today's day, like my wife may come at home or go to that same mall, whatever that is, that smell of just Cinnabon, it's like just put me in a very good space. Like I get excited about it. Like so, even if I'm working on a project or something like that, or on a paper or something, and then all of a sudden, like just make it literally my mood change, and that's what we talked about. That's so capturing those moments that bring you joy and things like that, and go with it. That will help your mental state. And then those moments that, like, let's say you got a very bad, like, let's say news while you sit in that one chair, or you realize every time you sit in that one chair at home, you become very negative. Just change that. One of the cool exercises that I tell a lot of people to do, just shifting your room, to get that fresh start. So if your bed like facing this way, like tonight or whatever that is, change the whole setup of your room. Open up the windows, get some fresh air. Literally, you just shifted that whole energy into your room, and that will put you in a very good, mental state. Decorating, do things, and that's what I mean about like identifying the things that matter to you that will help you put yourself in a better state, and that all incorporated into self-love, right? So so another thing about so any question before we go to the next phase that I wanted to talk about. Let's check if there's any questions so far. Awesome, no questions so far. All right, so let's dive into like how do we build that good relationship with ourselves, right? We talked about the first one, which is becoming, set the intentions. I think that's one of the most critical part, that you want to improve that relationship with you. That goes back into that self-love, and we're going to talk about that for a while, but like that, like setting those intentions is a critical thing. The second piece, number two, is to be structured. Plan for your short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. Set up goals for yourself, because if you don't have any goals, you don't get motivated to do anything. And as we talked about yesterday, setting up very small, achievable, small goals, and then you start to work on these things. So I'll give you guys the example about the money, making $100,000, break it down into like how much money you want to make into per week, how much money you want to make per hour, and literally start to work on those things. Tell your weekly, your daily goals, you're gonna help you. And then for me, for example, I do daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, 3-month goals, 6-month goals, 9-month goals, and then 1-year goals. And then I have 3-year goals, 5-year goals, and then 10-year goals for myself. And people say, well, how do you like start to think about like, and again, these are the things, if the same example that we gave yesterday, the car example, the more clear you are about where you want to go, doesn't mean that this is where you're going to end up. Remember, we're not worried about the end result. We're worried about the process. So throughout the process, if things change or you took a different turn, you just pivot, that 2 millimeter shift. You're not changing everything else. If you're into science and you love to talk to people, you want to be a doctor, for example, and you're working on these things. You want to be a doctor. You want to be a doctor. You're working on science. You're working on things, and then things, major shifts, change in your life and things like that. Doesn't mean like you go in from being a doctor to like, all right, like you just want to hate everything else. You want to become, like I say, an IT guy. It's not that. It's like, all right, what is it that from your own things that you enjoy and you love, you can move around instead of being a doctor and being a nurse. So being a nurse, being a dentist. It's not being a dentist, being a dermatologist. Not being a dermatologist, be a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever that is, that will help you to be vivid. But that doesn't mean like you leave everything and you start from scratch. And that's another thing. So when you start to set those specific goals for yourself, that will help you build that confidence. And that again goes back into that self-love. Because it is about the baby, the positive momentum that we're creating, right? And then the third one in this whole journey is adapting an attitude of curiosity and acceptance. Be curious. And I think that's when, start to pick, and that's the example that I give about, learning from other people. I am very curious. For me, I don't let anything go. I mean, I ask that question as far as why. For me, it's 5 whys actually. And everything that I do, there's a 5 whys that I have to ask. Like for, just an example, like, I want to travel, I want to travel to Dubai. First question is like, why? Well, I haven't been there for a long time. Okay. And I want to go in there. I wanted to start a workshop. Why? Because it's something I do have some clients in there. Okay. And they want me to be there. Why? Because, being in person versus actually doing it virtually, it's not the same exact thing. Okay. Why is that? Because being there, building those genuine relationships, that's going to help grow, and it's different, not the same thing. Maybe that impact I'm going to be giving them while I'm there with them is completely different. Why is that important? Because the legacy, their legacy and my legacy is all connected. So I need to be in Dubai to continue work on my legacy. Oh, perfect. That's a good why. So I make that jump, right? So literally start to question that, having that curiosity, and don't let things just go for the sake of letting go. If you don't understand something, ask it. If someone asks you to do something and that you don't get it, just say, what do I do here? And this is something that I really want to give you guys as an advice, being in corporate America and running companies. I mean, this is one of those things that I think a lot of my staff back then struggled tremendously when you'll ask them to do something and they want to take so many different things more than they can handle to prove themselves to certain things, to do certain things, and like to show up and all these different things. For us, for example, the way I looked at it is like, it's great, but guess what? I mean, if you do it, good job. But if you don't do it, I'm gonna go hard on you. You see what I'm saying? Just that corporate mentality. So being able to understand your limits is a critical piece of what that is, part of that self-love, right? Because if you love yourself, you will not take more things than what you can handle, right? You want to improve yourself. You want to continue to do things, which is awesome. But if you understand that you know your planner, you know your schedule, and then you want to take on this new project, you understand that there's no way you're able to fit in that specific project, you can always say no. And this is another thing that I want you guys to write 10 different lines under it. It's okay to say no for your own sanity, for your own mental health, for your own mental strength. And again, culturally, we're just engraved in us that it is hard for us to say no. No. Right now, I have my staff that literally I would tell them, guys, the minute you step out of the office, I do not want you to check any emails related to it. Because if you do, you're gonna have a problem with me. And they were like, okay, literally, you're home, do time with your family, enjoy your time, but do not do work-related stuff. And don't expect me to do any work-related stuff because I'm not gonna answer. Literally, that's what it is. Like if someone called me and say, hey, do these different things and I'm not able to do it, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. I'm not checking email again at work right now. Guess what? Every person, if you have I know some guys from human resources, please help us out with this one. Every company policy, you need to respond within 24 hours. Every company policy that, I don't think it's just from from the Department of Labor. You are given 24 hours to respond to an email. So why do you find yourself 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night checking your emails and responding to your bosses right away the minute they give you that email? You know what's this going to create? It creates expectation. If you're responding to your boss within a second of every email this guy is sending, she's sending you, guess what? Take 2 seconds, they're going to be on your ass. 100% they're going to be on you. Why? Because hold on a second, what happened? Why didn't you respond right away? So keep that in mind. Set those boundaries. Again, that's self-love. And learn to say no. Your boss said, "Hey, I need you to do these different things." Yo, it's 4:50 and you expect me to do this thing. No problem. I'll do that tomorrow. No, no, no. I need you to do it now. No, no. I can't do it now. I mean, I have to be out of here by 5 o'clock. They're paying you for 8 hours a day. Literally ask yourself, why are you working 80 hours a day? Literally, why are you working 80 hours a week? They're only paying you for 40. Why are you? So please, 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 this is another thing I would like for you guys to do. Go back, if you are working, and check these contracts that you guys signed. Is it a 40-hour contract, 35 hours contract, 50 hours contract? Read those contracts carefully and then enforce those. If your boss is not liking and things like that, that's probably the cause of your stress and the cause of what's causing you to go through what you're going through. But it is critical for you to learn to say, for your own sanity, for your own strength, for your own mental capacity, for your own mental strength. And if your boss say, "Hey, why don't you respond?" Listen, I was home. I'm expecting to see this at 3 o'clock. No, I can't send that email at 3 o'clock in the morning because I'm asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you do it once, you do it twice, you do it three, and it becomes a habit. They're not expecting you to email within a second or two. If it's urgent, they need to understand to mark urgent in it. If not, it's not. Set those boundaries, guys. Please set those boundaries. There's one question here. Let's answer it, and then we'll continue to move forward. It says, Amani said, "Hey, thanks for the advice. Do you think that studying alone or something for some time to think and to understand yourself is a good thing? Do help till to what extent? Not necessarily studying alone, but I think going on the journey of self-discovery, this is something that you have to go. And we have an exercise that we're going to do later to help you identify who you truly are and how to find that. So this is definitely, that's going to definitely be able to help with that. Perfect. As I said, I never said to my manager before. I love saying no to. I love that on noon. But that's the thing. If you don't say no, it becomes an expectation, and wallah, is gonna add so much stress in your life. That's that even like that. I can't even explain to you. I was stressed out. Like just telling people, like when people like literally my staff would say to me, "Yo, I'll take that." I'm like, you sure? Yeah, yeah, I got it. Dude, they usually, yeah, yeah, I got it. And then they take it and then they never deliver. And then all of a sudden they want to quit because it's just like, you just cannot do it. Set those boundaries. That's part of that self-love. You understand your limits. You understand what that is. But again, you need to plan your day properly so you understand what you have to do. You have to go through. That's that first step. Then you're able to know. Because guess what? Your job, if you work 80 hours, they're okay with it. If you work 40 hours, they're okay with it because they're paying you for 40. They actually would love for you to work 80, 90, 100 hours a week. They love that because they're paying you for 40. But then if you ask to get paid for 100 hours, guess what? You're going back to these 40 hours. Literally, that's something that they will definitely do. Perfect. How do you understand your limits? I think that's a good. I only know my limit once I reach my limit. Please. I think I set up limits for myself. And that's one of those things that I mean, I set up something that helps when you have your weekly, monthly, annual goals, like literally that these are the limits that you're working towards. For us, for example, I shared that with you guys 2 days ago, that I wake up 2 hours before anyone else. I wake up at 4 o'clock. So for me, like if I do it the way I do it, it's, like literally I have a month. Like I have a month on everyone else as far as my competition, as far as the people that I work on. And it's not a competition, but it's just from a mental state perspective. So for us, we start the year, literally, we start the year in December. That's the start of our own physical year, as far as all my companies that I work with, alhamdulillah. Like we started, in December, that's the start of the new year. And then we finish in October because it's an 11-month thing. So for us, like literally, like November for me, just a month of reflection and before anything else. And then we start the new year like for us in December. So for this month right now, like May, like literally that's our 6th month already. In like what we think about like this is something that's a structure that we started since day one. So just to keep that in mind, because we understand the limits and we understand what we're able to do and we understand what we're able to bring in and we understand what we can. So we're having that additional buffer month that it's okay, even if things doesn't work out the way we want it, we still have a month to correct, check in. And this again, it's a good way to discipline. So understanding your limits, I do set up my own limits. And that's something that, remember we talked about choices. You have a choice. You can set your own limits and you can stick with that. Things doesn't sit well with you, like say morally and from your integrity, from your vision, from your mission, from all these different things. Again, take a step back, quit your job. If the job is adding stress into your life and it's not helping you in any way possible, just quit it. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's when they like, do not find yourself, like at a job working 80 hours, 90 hours a week, stressed out. After you come back home, all you think about is the job. You continue to do the job. You're not able to do it. Your boss is on you all the time. Start to stress. Start not able to sleep. You're not able to drink. You're not like to eat. Not hang out with your friends and family. Your relationship is suffering at home because you're stressed out. You're yelling at them, your family, your parents, your significant others. Everybody don't want to be around you. You start to lose friends, and it's all because of that job. My advice to you will be just quit it. Just literally quit it. The workplace, how have learned to deal with BS? To be honest with you, I don't deal with BS at all. Because for me, it's like I have a vision. I'm on a vision. I'm on work. So if things like come in like drama and stuff and things like that, like just doesn't fit me or doesn't serve me and things like that, I just either ignore it or just just keep moving forward with it. But if it continues, like, and it's the job and it's the boss who's toxic and the environment is becoming toxic, I just leave. And I came to a level where I said to myself, I'll never work for anybody else ever in my life. And that's how I started, this company. So just to keep that in mind, like you have that ability, like to control. Again, you have a choice, and that's part of that self-love. Loving yourself is for you to understand your abilities, that you don't need to deal with BS. People need to go. People need to go. And I know I'm just saying that as that easy, but wallahi, guys, it's that easy. People need to get chopped. People need to get chopped. Chop them up. Job needs to go. Job needs to go. You put you first, and that's what's important, because again, that's that self-love. Because guess what, the minute, remember that example that I gave when we first started this, the minute you lose everything around you, you have you don't want to have you where you damaged, you stressed out, you have low confidence. No, you want to have you where you're confident in your abilities. You want to have you that where you say no to whatever that is, you know exactly what you want and you work towards that. Hadil, that's a good question about fear. I think that's a workshop. I think we should definitely do it. I mean, again, if these guys would like to have me and another later time to do a workshop on fear, I'd love to do a one on fear, because this is definitely a very critical part as far as fear. And it's not just the fear of just the unknown. There's about 15 different type of fear. Unknown, the being criticized, fear of the certainty, the uncertainty, fear of just change, fear of like being different place. Like literally there's 1,000 things, and I'd love to do something for you guys if these guys will allow me to do it. So just keeping that in mind. So let's keep moving forward. So we talked about number 3, adapting the attitude of curiosity and acceptance, and that's definitely a critical part of loving yourself. The one thing is having the priorities, and that's what we talked about in this journal, as far as identifying those 6 different areas of your life, 7 different areas of your life, 3 different areas of your life that you nurture on a daily basis, and you allow that to be, some people say, Abdullah, I just want to have, sleep, nutrition, activities, rest, recreation, mental habits. Literally, this is 5. This is exactly what I want to do. Perfect. Do that. What works is someone say, well, spiritually, mentally, physically, and perfect. Do that. It's perfectly okay. Do that. Whatever fits you, but make that a priority and make that about you, because this is yourself that we're talking about. We're not talking about anyone else. We're talking about you, right? So that's one thing. So number 5 is, and one of the most critical part is about being kind to yourself. And I think to sum it all up in one thing is just treat yourself the same way you treat your best friend. Literally, that's how easy that is. Treat yourself the same way you treat your best friend. Don't beat yourself. I mean, again, we talked about like just don't let yourself just do things and be no. But you continue to be consciously aware of what's happening and be okay to stand up for yourself. The same way that like if your girlfriend, for example, is going through a rough time and she's stressing, and all of a sudden you're telling her like, oh my God, you need to break up with him and things like that, but then finding yourself, you're going through the same exact relationship. No, you need to do the same exact things. Putting you first. Because guess what, guys? Again, I'm going to say that again. No one will love you more than you do. And no one will respect you for more than you do. Because if you don't understand what love is, self-love is, how do you expect anybody to do it? Literally, if you come to me and say, Abdullah, I want to be rich. Here's $1. You're $1 richer. Really, I want to make more money. Here's $1. You made more money. Versus, no, I want to make 100,000, make 200,000. Literally, that is. Once you understand exactly what you want in life, as far as loving yourself, respecting yourself, doing things for yourself, then you're going to appreciate what other people are doing for you because you understand what love, what self-love is. Just keep that in mind. Please just think, I want you to marinate this. I want you to marinate this. And I ask this all the time. We're gonna do the workshop tomorrow about finding yourself and finding your significant other. It's gonna be amazing, by the way. I'm very excited for it. But one of those things that I tell I tell people like, I'm like, oh yeah, this person doesn't love me. But my first question, like, do you know how to love yourself? And they're like, no. So if you don't know, what you don't know what love is, how do you expect this person to know? Because he doesn't know, she doesn't know. You have to lead by example. You need to be standing for the things. And again, when you start to think about being kind to yourself, I mean, again, for me, it's like, I take responsibility. That's part of me loving being kind to myself. Any project, anything that I'm doing that goes wrong, I take full accountability for it, full responsibility for it every day and any day of the week. Why? That's part of my self-love. Because guess what? I dropped the ball somewhere. If one of my staff do something wrong, it's on me for not training them. So I'm the first person to take that. If I don't do something I'm supposed to do, please let me know because I will correct it. Literally. So, and that's the thing, taking accountability for what you do, understanding from your mistakes, continue to move forward with these things, but being kind. Talk to yourself very gentle. Don't yell at yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't call yourself no. Don't literally people will start like, oh, I'm an introvert. I'm an extrovert. All due respect, but that's BS. You are what you are. I mean, who said that being an introvert is a good thing or being an extrovert is a good thing? That's who you are. Cherish that. That's amazing. That's who you are. I'm working with a client right now from Sudan, and amazing individual. And she said to me, Abdullah, I'm an introvert. I don't like people. I'm like, perfect. Do you want to be an extrovert? She's like, no. I was like, I don't need you to be that. That's great. Keep doing you. Just work on that. Because your significant other is we're gonna find someone who wants an introvert. And you want someone to be an extrovert. Literally, that's how we're gonna be working on. But you don't need to change what that is because someone said this is better. According to who this is better versus this is better. Right? It's according to you. Nurture what you have. Work on your strength. Work on your weaknesses. Be kind to yourself. If you don't get it, get it right. Keep working on yourself. Invest in yourself. And wallahi, I'm not saying this is it. Get a life coach. Literally, I'm not saying this for me. Like, do it. This is wallahi one of the best investments that I did in my life when I was a 17-year-old. Is I got myself a life coach at 17. And I looked at him, I asked him a simple question like, how much do you charge? And he looked at me and he said, 500. He's like $700 a month. I was working at Burger King by then, in school, working at Burger King, working at the county, after school programs. And literally my mind said to myself, okay, is that what it is? Is that what it is? And I found a way to save $700. I had a lot of fast food, a lot of Burger King during that $700, but I paid the guy. And because one of the commitments that he made to me was, Abdulwahab, I'm going to save you 10 years of your life. My question was like, how? He said, by the time you get to 30, I want to make sure that you reach the same amount of level of success I reached at 40. Alhamdulillah, 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 I reached at 27. So he saved me about 13 years of my life when I think about it from that perspective. Right? So keep that. If you feel that this is what you need, go get it. If you feel like you need a therapist, get it. If you feel like you need a personal trainer, invest in it. If you feel like you need to get someone who's got to be just like, whatever it is that you need that will help you become better at what you do, make that investment because it's investment on yourself. Right? You want to become a better musician? Hire someone, a vocal coach. If you want to know how to play the guitar, if you don't know how to go online and learn it yourself, hire someone who can help you with that. Coaches and mentors, I mean, what they do, they are like GPSs. You're going to get there, but these guys can get you there faster. That's when you think about it. But literally, that's that investment that you invest on yourself. And do it for you. People say, well, Abdullah, I don't want to touch my savings to hire a personal trainer. It's for you. It's for you. Literally, it's for you. It's nobody, it's for you. This is yourself we're talking about. So keeping that in mind. You're doing it for you. This is the winning investment. Because in return, you gotta go out there and freaking kill it. Because that's you we're talking about. You have you. If everything goes wrong, you have you. And that's what matters. Bro, I take me on this on the equation, like I think like that was a conversation I had with Dr. Ann Amado, like one of the most amazing psychiatrists like ever that I work with, and she asked me that question is we were talking about the topic. She said, how do you seem like you always pick the right answer, like you pick the right choice? And I said to her, I was like, well, there's no such a thing as a right choice. It's all about I always pick me in an equation. I don't put my fate in under nobody else's hands. It's under my hands. It's my own limits. Because if I do it right, it's on me. If I do it wrong, I take full responsibility and I keep working for it. Just think about that from that sense. Never ever put your fate under somebody else's hand. Never expect someone else to do something for you. And that's for your own sanity, for your own happiness. And that's including a relationship. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Don't expect your partner to make you better. Because you're not broken. You're not broken. You're whole. You're great. You're a human being. You're an amazing individual that have strengths and weaknesses. Nurture that. Keep working on that. And while they work on themselves and build on that and do what they do that, and then together you guys will continue to grow that relationship. It's that very simple analogy. You're not broken for your partner to fix you. You're not broken for anyone to fix you. So put your fate under your hand and take charge, take accountability, and keep working on that. Invest in yourself and keep loving yourself the way you should be loved. People say, well, I mean, that means I need to be picky. Yes, be picky. Again, if you understand that loving yourself is for you to have the best job, I think that $1 million question is like, what do you deserve? Once you identify yourself and you understand who you are and what you love yourself properly, the next question is like, what do you deserve? What do you deserve? I deserve the best husband and wife. I deserve the best food. I deserve the best trainer. I deserve the best help. I deserve to go to the best universities. I deserve to get paid. How many of you guys right now are getting underpaid for the stuff that you do? I think almost all of you guys will raise your hand. That's what it is, the reality of it. But the expectation is for you to work those 80, 90, 100 hours. And that's not self-love. Self-love is for you to get paid for what you deserve. And how you do that? By you standing for yourself and you negotiate. There's an art behind it, by the way. I'll do another workshop. Man, I'm like setting up myself up. There's a work, like there's literally an art as far as how to negotiate salaries and what to look into from a corporate perspective. That's the reality of it. But if you know your value, makes a huge difference. Because now you can stand tall, chest up, knowing exactly what you need, and your employer will deliver. If they can't, it's their loss, not yours. Because you know what you have to offer. You understand what you bring into the table. And once you get that mentality, you'll never be stressed. Because you are going to get paid. You deserve the best job, you get the best job. You deserve the best colleges, you get the best job. You deserve the best career, you get that. You deserve the best wife and husband, yes. You deserve the best food, you'll get that. Because you're working towards it, right? And that's not part of that self-love. Number 6, it's seek others who fit your goals. That's where that proximity is power. And I'm going to continue to talk about this. Who do you surround yourself with? I mean, I think, some of the guys said 5 people that you surround yourself. I'll tell you it's the 3 people that you surround yourself with. Because the circle get closer or smaller, the vision get bigger. You don't have time, like literally me, I don't have time for 5 people. Like in my circle is 3 people, that's it. Because now it's like, it's more manageable. It's not about how many friends you have. I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of associates. I have a lot of people that I love and cherish and nurture and help and support in so many different ways. But as far as my proximity, very, very small. As far as, it's like as far as what that is. Because now, like I said, the circle get smaller and the vision get bigger. Give me a second, guys. Let me just put this in the charger. 1 second. Perfect. Sorry about that. Just awesome. Yes. So that's what I mean about your proximity. You know, it's not about how many friends you have. It's not about how many associates you have. No, it's about those 2 to 3 people in your life that they're as focused as you are, as hungry as you are. They want you to succeed as much as they do. They will not go to sleep. I share a story with you guys, and this is a true story. I mean, and this is something that's so dear to me. One of my really good friends, like within my circle, Abbas, he's in California. Amazing dude, photographer. Does a lot of good things. IT, business guy. Does a lot of good things. And he's into business, as well. I get a call from this guy at 12 o'clock back in April of last year. And he calls me, Abdulhab, listen, here's the phone number of this guy who is looking for a business partner in Arizona. I want you to call him. I said, oh, okay. Like, yeah, call this guy right away. Oh, khalas, no problem. 12 o'clock at night, Eastern time. Hung up the phone and went back to sleep. Like, I'm going to call the guy in the morning. Abbas calls me back at 1:30. Yo, bro, what's up? Did you call this guy? Like, bro, I did it. He freaks out. No, I told you I need you to call this guy because he has value, that this is a good business deal. I will need you to get into it. You're going to benefit so much from it. I need you to call this guy right now, please. Hang up the phone. I called the guy. Literally got picked up. We talked about it, see what's going on. That was on a Monday. On a Sunday. Tuesday morning, I was on a flight to Arizona. We went in. Alhamdulillah, we closed the deal. Thursday morning, it flew back. And one of those things that, like, literally back of my mind is like, alhamdulillah, I'm surrounded by such amazing individuals, because it's like, this is a deal that he could have got into it. He could have benefited from it. But in his mind, like, that proximity, that no, this is, Abdulhab needs to be on this. That's what I mean by proximity. People want not just them eating, but you're eating as well. You're moving forward and they're moving forward as well. That's what the type of people that I want you to think about. So you start to look into it, and literally, this is an exercise that I want you guys to do right now, is to sit there and identify those 3 people that within your circle right now. Please do that. That's an exercise. Write down 3 names of the 3 people that you spent most of your day with, or days with. Write their names down. And after this workshop, I want you to process and think about where they are in their lives. How are they doing? Are they winning or they're not? Do they have the potential and they're working towards their goals and they're pushing you and you're pushing them, and it's not about the BS and it's not about getting upset and it's not about all this emotional crap. No, it's all about pushing you and pushing themselves to get better. Those are guys you need to hang out with. If you realize that your circle, you don't have that, you need a new circle. You seriously need a new circle, and do it for you. And I promise you, they're out there. Successful people, it's all about abundance. No problem. Come to me and say, I want to be your circle. No problem. There's expectation. All right. You up for a ride? Let's go. Let's literally go. What's up? But then the minute you drop the ball, you're not doing what you need to do. You just need to go. But that's what it is. And be honest with yourself. That doesn't mean, like I said, we talked about the thing that Tupac said. It's not about, like, we're not hanging out. Like, I'm not your friend. That doesn't mean I'm your enemy. No. Not your friend. No, go there, do a thing, do well, eat, have what you need to do. Just don't eat at my table. I'm doing me and you're doing you. I want what's best for you. I love you. That's great. Good for you. But we're just not on the same wave. Have another person that have a wave with you. Just keep moving forward and do it for you. Proximity is power, guys. Proximity is power. Right? Number 7, I want to think about being grateful. Gratitude will bring a lot of discipline as far as who you are, and that will help you to see yourself from a very positive thing. Because one of those different things that we tend to do is we try to compare, and we always think about the negative things that we do in life. I'm 30, I'm not able to accomplish things. I haven't got married yet. I did not lose the weight that I wanted. I did not make the money that I wanted. I did not get the job that I wanted. It's always about the negative talk. We keep constantly telling ourselves. The minute you shift that mindset and to start to think gratitude on a daily basis. I send in the picture of my planner. One of the things that I do on a daily basis are do write my gratitude statement. 3 to 4 different things that I'm grateful for. Literally. And my, like, consciously, I'm trying to make it where every single day I'm looking for something different. That's the challenge. So it's not like I'm grateful for my health, I'm grateful for my family. No, I wrote that, sure, alhamdulillah. But so now I'm becoming a lot more like vision, paying attention, wanting to write these different things. Being grateful, being grateful, being grateful. It's definitely a critical thing. And like I said, it's gonna help you humble yourself. Right? And then the next one is, which is a very good one, is like start to establish good habits. We talked about self-confidence and self-esteem and the things that will continue to push you forward. But how do you build your confidence and how do you build your self-esteem? You build those up by creating a very small, achievable goals, create some good habits, and you continue to crush these different habits. And then all of a sudden you start to feel good about yourself. Waking up early. There's a thing that in my planner on a daily basis, I call it the hour of power. That's daily. That's my time to me. That's literally my own time. I can sit there, I can watch a movie, I can hang out, I can read a book, I can tell myself, read some stories, I can read some jokes, I can crack myself up, I can do whatever that is that I need to do. That's my time. And that's daily. I have that every single day. My hour of power. The only thing with this, I mean, sometimes it goes in the morning, sometimes it goes in the evening, sometimes I do block that 1 hour a day. I call it my hour of power. Literally, that's just me thinking, processing. I can go on, like Instagram and jump in, mess around with people, talk to people, hang out, have friends. Sometimes I'll be like, hey guys, bored. But literally, that's just my time to do what I want to do, daily basis. But creating those habits that put you at a position to continue to move forward, right? It's not about, like again, and I wanted to put that out there. It's not about being selfish. Self-love is not about that. Self-love is about cherishing and just becoming mindful and becoming aware and have control of everything that you need to do. Like act on the things that you need, not the things that you want. Like being selective. That's what self-love is all about. It's all about self-care. It's all about setting boundaries. It's all about positive self-talk. It's all about forgiving yourself. And that's another one. You have to learn to forgive yourself. You have to learn to forgive yourself. And we talked about that briefly yesterday. We make mistakes. So what? We all do. Think about it as, your journey from the day you started. And it doesn't matter what you went through. Could be the hardest to the hardest. There's a specific ayah. Wallahi, if you just get it and marinate it and get it to you properly, you're done. Like you're not gonna be screwed up. La yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha. What does that even mean? It means that God is not gonna give you anything that's you're not able to accomplish or get over or overcome. That's it. Wallahi, when I got that and I understood that, it doesn't matter what problem that I go through, it doesn't matter what situation I find myself in. I know deep inside in my heart that I was given a task that I know how to get over it. If I'm stressing and I'm going through it and I'm tripping and I'm beating myself up and I'm not forgiving myself, I'm not going to be able to overcome it. But I need to take a step back, change my state, relax for a second, overthink it, check in with my mentors, check in with my coach, check in with my proximity, think about things from a different perspective, pray my 2 rak'ahs, ask for istikhara, and then make a decision. And then all the time, alhamdulillah, 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 I'm able to overcome that. Because Allah said it. Allah doesn't just tell you something just to tell you. La yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha. That's it. You were told. Someone asked a question: at what point, the self-care become selfish? It will never become selfish if you keep up with that gratitude statement for you to keep yourself humble. As far as why you're there. Because self-love is doing, self-love is giving, doing the things that you love to do, but then at some point nurture and the relationship that you have. So once you have that proximity, for example, and these guys are there for you and you're there for them, you go that extra mile. You'll take a bullet for them because you understand that they will take a bullet for you. And it's never be selfish. Because remember, we talked about that. It's that mindset. It's you're eating, you're winning, everyone else is winning in your team. That's self-love. If you realize to start to sit back and we're gonna do that exercise in a sec. If you take a step back and start to realize like I'm just becoming selfish. It's all about me. That's something when you gotta check yourself. And I think it's like having amazing friend proximity. They always check you. And that's what that critical proximity, that accountability measure, these guys will lay out on you. And it comes from love. What this guy did to me when he called me at 1:30 and told me like, yo, did you call this guy and freak out on me? That's love. That's accountability. If I would have told him like, yo, I'm not able to do it until tomorrow, he might have called him himself. But it was just like more of it, that accountability measure. And them being in your life, they will check you. And that's why it's critical to surround yourself with individuals with that same mindset. Because they will not allow you to slip. Because they're winning and they want you to win. Hopefully that answered that question. And I think one of the most important parts also about self-love is being intentional in everything you do in life. Be very intentional. There's no you just don't do things just to do it. Right? You gotta accept and love yourself more, whatever that is. And then everything that's happening in life, it's like I said, it's preparation for the next phase. It's preparation for you to continue to move forward in life. So you get that in your mind, that you understand that. So everything you do is becoming very intentional in everything you do. How do you balance, maintaining a relationship with yourself, spending time with yourself, focusing on your goals, and maintaining your relationship with others? Remember, we talked about that yesterday, Hadid. When you write down on your planner that you allocate the time on a daily basis. So for me, for example, like when I break it down, I have the time. I have two small kiddos and I have a wife. Alhamdulillah, and then I have sisters and brothers and family members. So the way I break it down is I check in on my parents like during this quarantine, because we just got back from Sudan 12 days ago. So we decided to just lock ourselves in for 14 days just to make sure that we're safe. So we quarantined ourselves for 14 days. So with that mindset is like I check in on my parents every morning, in the morning, just checking out with them, and I check up with them like throughout the day, just see how everything's doing. I do spend probably like about half an hour with each child of mine, like to do things that they want to do on a daily basis. Like this is the things that they do. They do the coloring, we play the games, we hang out, we read stories separately. And then both of us together, we spend about like half an hour to an hour at night, just to put them in that daily routine and put them together to bed. And then I do spend about an hour or so with my wife every day, hanging out, talking stories, sharing things, cooking together, cleaning, doing whatever that is that she needs help with. And then I spend my hour of power on a daily basis. And then I do my 6 hours of sleep. I spend some time on my prayers on a daily basis. I spend some time on my work. It's broken down like as far as the hours that I'm working. Alhamdulillah, I'm at the position that it doesn't have to be a block of like from 9 to 5 or anything like that. So I do break my 6 to 8 hours of work like throughout. I start to work on connecting with my brothers, connecting with my friends, connecting with the people that matter to me, like literally all these different things, just to make sure that they get they get that time. So it's up to you as far, and that's why I said having 3 close friends, it's better than having 1,000 people that you get check up on them on a daily basis. That just definitely exhausts you, and you do that on a daily basis. So hopefully that answered that. How do you focus on a single task? I struggle to finish things that I started, and that's the thing. I think for me, I allocate that time. If literally you see in there, like I will say emails. I check my emails 3 times a day. Like literally in the mornings, like I think around 8 o'clock or 8:30, I check my emails. I check my emails again around 2 o'clock, and then I check my emails again around 7. That's it. And checking their emails is literally for about 5 minutes. So I spend 15 minutes on emails, nothing more than that. If it's an urgent email, I'll send an email back. If nothing, you just gotta wait till the next day. Again, that's part of that discipline. So once you understand and you have that in your mind that this is the time that's allocated for that specific task, that you don't have to rush to do anything else. You're not rushing to do anything else. You're literally just focused on that. And you continue to push on that, you continue to push on that, you continue to push on that. So that's what it is. And that's another thing. Don't start a task if you know you're not going to finish it. And that's why setting up a very small, achievable goals is a critical part. It's like, for example, you understand that you only have an hour and you need to write a 30-page essay. You're not going to be able to do it. So what do? You break it down to small, achievable goals. Maybe I spend an hour to do research. Later hour, I spend it on writing my first paragraph. Spending some time on the content, third paragraph, literally just breaking that goal down that way. What about generally checking your phone? Quarantine, my screen time has gone up. And I get that point. For me, to be honest with you, it's very phone for me it's literally like only few people have my personal phone number, literally only few people. And I was talking to someone the other day. I have a feature that if you call me and you're not on my contact list, you will get rejected. Literally, a couple of times you get rejected unless I call you back or I text you back. It's one of those features that's going to save me a lot of headache. So for me, as far as time is few things, right? I do have in there like the amount of like I do have spend about I think hour and a half, sometimes hours, like in 45 minutes on social media, or like on phone on daily basis, and it's broken down into different time throughout the day. So I do spend go in there to do that specific task. I check my messages, I respond to people and do things that way. So for me, it's that. Another things that will help you like improve your productivity like right away. Do not check your phone the minute you wake up. Don't do that. Because the minute you wake up, you get into it, that's when you start to get into that mode of like responding and doing all these different things. No, you do not need to do that. So that's one habit that you can maybe start. Second thing, when you're at work, one thing that I did at work that helped me like literally wallahi, increase my productivity by 30% is that I do not respond to calls before noon. None. No work phones before noon at all. And I don't even set up meetings before noon because that's my time for me to do everything that I need to do. Afternoon, I call people, start checking with people and do what it is. And so how it became a habit. Now, even my employees right now, no one will call me for noon. They will not do that because again, they know I'm not going to answer unless it's urgent. And we understand that. That's what I'm saying. Like, so put the phone away. Do not check the phone when you get in there. If you work in a position where you don't need to choose your phone constantly, do not just make a conscious decision, be intentional about it, that you're not going to answer your phone before noon, because that morning is yours for you to own, especially if you wake up early. Yeah, like 6-7 hours in the morning, go out there and crush it. Then check up when everybody else is crap after afternoon, to be honest with you. Hopefully that answered that up. Any other questions? I want to be cautious, be conscious about people's time. I know, yes, I got like a couple of text messages from a couple people like, well, we didn't get a chance to make break, fatur, like, okay, all right, guys, I'm sorry. So any questions, any other questions? Do you meditate? For me, praying, that's part of my meditation on a daily basis. And then when I spend my hour of power, I do spend some time to deep breathing, and I do some time just to do my reading. I don't do yoga, I don't do none of that stuff. It just because again, I think prayer for me fulfilled that part as far as that meditation. But I do a lot of deep breathing, my hour of power, or it's like close my eyes, literally about, just breathing in and breathing out, and then I write my gratitude. That's part of my meditation part. Any other questions? If there's no questions, I would like for you to go back to when we started this workshop, where I asked you guys to write down 2 to 3 different questions and not leave until you get these questions answered. Go over them again. Make sure that you got every question answered before we finish this workshop. And if not, this is your time to ask them. How do you tackle having a bad day? Beautiful. So if my day is structured in a way, and I do have a lot of bad days, by the way. Like, I'm a human being. A lot of times it's just a rough day. It's a rough day. The way I look at it is it's a day, right? And that's why, like, if you have a rough day, it's a rough day. The next day, I will not allow that day to take over. So that's what I'm saying. Like, say I had a rough day, perfect. Stress it out, lay down on the couch, watch Judge Mathis for hours and hours, watch basketball, watch soccer for hours and hours, and just stress it out for a little bit. And then after this whole situation is over, the next day, I change my proximity, get up in the morning, get back into my routine, jog, do something a little bit different in the mornings to get back into that, and then forgive myself. Again, like, all right, it's a bad day. It happened, like, right? I have a decision to make. It's all about choices, right? I have a decision to make. I can drag this day to another day, and then I have 2 days, and then 3 days, and 4 days. Now I have a bad week, I have a bad month, I have a bad year. Or I can take a step back and say, all right, it's done. What went right? These are the things. What went wrong? These are the things. Take responsibility for what I need to take responsibility for. And the things I just have I can't take responsibility for it. It's done. It's done. I just keep moving forward. And again, it's that mental discipline that you need to get yourself into. And I do have a lot of days just a rough day, things not working out, whatever that is, and just forgive myself, take a step back. It's okay, it happened, and just keep moving forward. Of course. Any other questions? We got one question right here. Just give me 1 second for my Instagram. Okay, I'm sorry. That's a completely different question on a different topic. So I'll talk about that later. All right. Any other question? I value my me time a lot and always allocate days to myself, but I find myself feeling guilty a lot when a friend of mine asks to go out, or when I go, I feel bad and I feel that I should have chosen to stay home, choose me. But if I don't go, I end up feeling guilty for not being there for them in case they needed me. How do you find this balance of choosing yourself and not feeling guilty for it? I think this is a very good question that a lot of us do go through with it. It's when you put you first. I think making that decision, as far as like, if a friend of mine called me and say, hey, I want to go out, and right away, and I look at my task and I see that at that point I have things that I'm working on. It's on me at this point. Literally, I'll allocate a time on a separate day. Say, hey, listen, guys, I just cannot go out today, but how about we go out on this date at that time? What that do to you, it will give you that fulfillment that you were still there for them, right? You didn't just ignore them completely. That will allow them a day or two to go through whatever they went through as far as a rough day, rough do. So when they come back to you and have that conversation with you, it will take a different route, right? Because they already thought of it for a day or two. They marinated in their mind. And in your mind, like, you did not abandon them. But relax, you told them, hey, I'll put me first because you have some priorities that you're working on, and I'm gonna get back with you in a couple of days, or a day, or maybe tomorrow, maybe the weekend. And they'll start to respect that, because you have that self-respect to yourself to get you things done. Because guess what? You checked yourself, you got that completed, then reach out. So just keep it. It's all about that discipline and making you a priority. Hopefully that answered that. How do you balance between cutting yourself some slacks and not getting too comfortable in your own discomfort? That's a beautiful question. And I think that's the balance, as far as if you have, that's where structure and that's where discipline, that's when writing things down become very handy. If you know your to-do list, to do X, Y, and Z, right? And you have to do it. You don't do it the day one, you don't do it day two, day three, you're checking yourself out. Sure, what happened? What went wrong? Are you just being discomfortable? Like, are you just being comfortable? Are you just not trying to do it? Are you just getting into your own head? What's happening, right? So that's that rule of 3 days. And this is something I do all the time. I write everything that I need to do right down on my to-do list. And these are just the BS stuff that I have to check in, write them all down. If I don't get it done the first day, the second day, the third day, I'm checking myself out. Like, what's going on? What's happening? What's really going on? And what's really, happening for me not to do what I need to do, right? So just take that step back. All right. How can I put my needs above those of others? I don't know how to put myself in. It's one of my weakness quality that I don't know how to control. I think knowing it, the concept of it is to, again, going back into loving yourself. Once you understand who you are, and the next phase to ask yourself, what do I deserve in this whole thing? Things will take a different perspective, completely different perspective. It's literally about digging deeper and learning how to love yourself truly. Because once you, because that's what I'm saying, and not just you, we're our program since the minute we're born. And this is something some of us, I checked my parents actually the other day. I remember, like, when I was like, as long as I remember, like, I was a kid, and they just brought us, I think my parents bought me this horse, like this blow up horse, like a red one. I still remember that. And then all of a sudden, like, literally, I just got it. Then 10 minutes later, like, the door knocked and some, like, neighbors came in and with the family and things like that. And then all of a sudden that kid, like, I was like 5, I think. The kid wanted to come and play with me, like, wanted to take that horse. I'm like, yo, that's mine. So the kid started crying. And I still remember my parents came in and took that horse and gave it to him. So the kid doesn't cry. Like, no, Khalisha Maibki. Like, literally, I took it. I remember I cried for hours, but it was like, it's cool. And then fast forward. So it happened again, literally, I think about a few months ago. I took my kids to my parents' house, and I have my youngest, Ubay, who's very, subhanAllah, and he's very structured. It takes a lot from me when I was a kid. So everywhere we go, he has his backpack. and he put like his toys in it. Everywhere we go, he has his toys. Yeah, I have my notebook. He has his toys. So we go to my parents' house. So how like he takes his toys out and he put all the toys in. And he's playing with his toys. I know my sister bring her kids, and then my brother bring his kids, and then my older son were there. And then all of a sudden, they all wanted to play with his toys. And literally, everybody step up and say, "Nope, no one's touching my toys. These are mine. Screw everyone." So now you have all these kids are crying. And I'm sitting there literally just watching from distance and paying attention. My mom runs, coming from downstairs, just panicking. What's going on? What's going on? And all the kids are like, "Oh, Obey's not sharing his toys." The first thing she does, she goes in and she grabs the toys from Obey and start to pass those toys out to these kids. So literally, I just went right away, mom, time out, time out, time out. So she looked at me. I was like, "Nope, that's not happening today." Took the toys back. I gave it back to Obey, and I said, "So he's a kid. What are we teaching him? That's okay. You're teaching these kids for them not to take responsibility, to come to your house, just and no, and then all of a sudden wanting something else from someone else, and then they cry, and then they get that. And you're teaching him that the efforts that he put in to be, like to take accountability and to bring his toys with him, then then you take that from him and you give it to other people. No, we're not doing that. This is his toys. You play with your toys. For all the other kids, you bring your own toys next time around. They're literally like, my mom looked at me and was like, okay, and how is she's gonna like argue with me? Like, okay, no problem. She left it. Wallahi, guys, I'm not kidding. That was on a Saturday. We went back to my parents' house on a Sunday, like that next day. Ubay packed up his toys. My oldest late went in. I was like, yo, you want to bring your toys? We ran in, grabbed a couple of toys. We went back to my mom's house. Wallahi, all the kids that they were there the next day, they each and every single one of them brought in their own toys. So literally they came and they started playing. And I literally looked at my mom and I said to her, yo, look at that. That's how we teach them. We are programmed from the day we were born that we have to put other people first, other kids first, other neighbors first. Like literally our homes, we sit there and we have neighbors and families and friends and everybody come over and over and over. Then all of a sudden, he's like, you don't have any privacy. You don't have any time to yourself. You don't have any time to have conversation because other people come first. So what you're doing here, you're going back and you're taking control of your life. You're taking control of everything that happened to you, and you start to love yourself, and you stop that cycle. You're literally breaking that cycle, because what you do, the minute you become you, confidence and loving yourself and nurturing yourself and doing things for yourself and investing in yourself and doing the things that you want to do, think about your kids. What are you able to give them? You give them confidence, you give them drive, you give them hunger, you give them, just appreciation, you give them respect, you give them love, you give them self-love. And these are the things that we're trying to do here, breaking the cycle. So that'll be my advice for you. How do we unlearn the voices that might have taught us? Here we go. That's what we just talked about it. So, exactly what we just talked about a second ago. That's exactly what it is. How we do that by writing things down, processes. If you have these thoughts, write the thoughts down. If you have these negative thoughts, write these freaking thoughts down. Write them. I mean, I have a journal that I used to write, like all my, just like every time I have these negative thoughts, I'll write them down. And then by the end of the week, I'll just burn it. Literally just burn that. Like I'm telling that I am in control. These are all my negative thoughts. I put it all on a piece of paper and I burn that piece of paper because I can do it. I have control of it. And it worked every time. And then, all right. And then you start getting a lot more new things, and then you do the same thing over and over and over again. How would you say the best way to cope with anxiety? Anxiety is an interesting thing. I can send you a few things because again, like I can maybe answer that question more from my background. I mean, I did psychology as well, so I can answer that from a psychological standpoint. But my advice to you, I think the more you become confident in yourself, the more you start to learn that you have control of the things that you do, you start to find yourself becoming less anxious. But again, with anxiety, and this is like if you have that, it's severe, definitely seek in some additional help, some medical help, see a therapist, see something to get that help. Sometimes medication will help. But again, don't just avoid it, because like stress untreated, that's when you get anxiety. And anxiety untreated, that will lead to depression. And depression untreated, that can lead to a lot of different things that you do not want to go through. So if you realize that this is something that you have, work on it, take some, take some steps to work on this, to, and, if you just still not able to work on yourself, continue to build that. If you're still not able to do it, get some help, therapist, mentor, coaches, like just say whatever that is that you need. Sometimes, like I said, medication, sometimes just without that, just building that confidence will help a lot. So just keeping that in mind. But very, very good question. Any other questions? Awesome. 7:02. Probably take another 3 more minutes, for any more questions. Definitely would like to, to answer them. If you catch any other questions between now, I know we're gonna have I think Thursday that we're gonna have an hour just for Q&As to answer any questions I may have. So keep that in mind. I mean, you can go back and watch this, this workshop. Anything that comes behind it, just drag them down, write them down, and then maybe on Thursday, inshallah, we'll be able to answer all of them. Someone said, Abdullah said, do you have any tips to avoid comparing ourselves to others? I think that's where that self-love will come in, very handy, Abdullah. Like literally, I think the more you start to identify who you are. So let me give you that exercise, which is a cool exercise that I do all the time. And I did that, I do all my kids, I do it with all my clients. Pen and paper, and write down, we did that, we talked about it briefly yesterday. Write down 50 positive things about yourself. Right? 50 positive things about yourself. Don't focus on the negative, just the positive things. Then, number 2, identify 5 people that you think know you best. It could be family members, it could be relatives, it could be friends, it could be significant others, husbands, wife, girl, whatever that is, that you think know you best. Then you got to send them a text and just say, please describe me in 5 positive words or more. Also positive, right? So to say we have 5 people, each person is giving you 5, that's 25. You already written 50, that's you 75. Then we'll spend about a couple of days after you start this exercise, start to spend some time to go around and ask and just pay attention to other things that bring that to you. So you have 100, that's our goal, to get 100 things about you. This is basically who you truly are from a positive perspective. This is the side that you don't see every single day because you're not paying attention to it, right? Sometimes you're gonna have some things that's repetitive, 5 or 6 different things that said the same exact things. You're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome. Perfect. Write it 5 times. And what I want you to take that page and put that page everywhere. Your mirror, you put it in your room, put that in your car, put that everywhere. And the concept, like the minute you start to have these negative thoughts, so you start to compare yourself with anyone else, so you start to like hear something that you don't want to hear, literally just jump on that paper and pull that up and ask yourself, do I see this? Do I see this here? If you don't see it, that's not you. That's somebody's projection on you, and it doesn't matter to you because you love yourself enough and you know yourself. I did that exercise, by the way. I did that to myself, and all my clients go through it. But one of the coolest things, my 7-year-old, I did that with him last year. He came in and he was being hard on himself, like, hey, I'm not smart. I don't know how to do this. Like I'm not smart. I'm not smart. So I sat down with him and I said to him, let's just write 50 things positive about you. We literally went through, I gave him a couple, he went in and he thought about a few things. He asked, my mom and asked all the people that he knows, and he wrote this list, beautiful list, actually, about 50 things. And then he wrote them all on paper. So, and then I told him, like, if someone comes to you and say, Laith, you're not smart, or you're dumb, or you're this, you're that, all I want you to do is just go back to your list. So, so we went to my sister's house and he's having his list with him. And I asked my sister, I was like, yo, go tell Laith that he's not smart. So she literally went up to him and said, hey, Laith, you're not smart. So he goes, hold on a second. He pulls his list out and he was going through his list and he goes, I don't see not smart there. You know what? I am smart. Don't talk to me. And he just kept on moving. It was like one of the cutest thing ever, but I think it was like the funniest thing ever. Like I was just cracking up and I was like, yo, this is dope. This is exactly what I need this thing to happen. So I think for us to do the same exact thing. Having that 100 things, the minute you start to compare yourself to yourself, go back to that list and identify who you truly are. You have 100 things to build from, right? And then from there, if you know who you truly are, the next question, as we said, what do you deserve? If this is who you are, what do you deserve? You deserve the world. So you go out there and get it, right? Inshallah, hopefully that answered that question. That's it. 7:06. Anyone else? Tabarak, would you like to jump in?
Sure thing. I'm just gonna check YouTube one last time to see if we are missing any more questions. It doesn't seem like we do. Once again, Abdul Wahab, thank you so much. Definitely learned a lot. Every day I have more pages of notes. I think others can agree. Jazakallah khair for this wonderful talk. Inshallah, tomorrow will be about finding yourself and finding your significant other. I also saw you challenge the finding yourself perspective and creating yourself. So excited to see what lens you'll take with that.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely pleasure. So would you like to do the dua before we do? No, that was awesome the way you did yesterday. It was amazing. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, bismillah. Let's see. All right. I don't know where to start today. Okay. Bismillah. Ya Allah, Ya Kareem, Ya Ghafoor, Ya Rahim. Ya Allah, please bless our gathering today. Ya Allah, we ask that you put us at the center. We put you at the center of our hearts, that you guide us in our self-discovery, in our journey, Ya Allah. Make this process easy for us so that when we reach it, we become better on the other side. Ya Allah, every step towards you, please come towards us at speed. Ya Allah, please bless Abdul Wahab, his family, his children, and anyone that crosses paths with him. Help him reach and touch as many lives as possible. Ya Allah, please help us be amongst those that constantly strive to be better people than we were yesterday. Ya Allah, please heal those that are suffering right now, those that we know, those that we don't know, suffering from diseases of the heart, diseases of the mind, physical illnesses. Ya Allah, please cure them. Only you can cure, and we ask you to cure them. Ya Allah, Ya Kareem, we express our deepest gratitude and blessing this evening, blessing this afternoon, blessing this night, wherever we are in this world, and bringing us together for the sake of Allah, for the sake of doing good and for your sake only. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much, guys. You guys have a good